Hi boys and girls, I hope you're having a good evening. This video is to introduce you to integers and what they are. Throughout the video, I'm going to discuss both negative and positive integers. So in these two boxes, I just want you to take some notes down as to what they may be. I'm also going to give you some real-world examples as to what negative and positive integers might be in the real world. And I want you to mention some of those in this box here. Okay, so let's get started. Integers are whole numbers that describe opposite ideas in mathematics. So in order for it to be an integer, it has to be a whole number. Integers can be either negative, positive, or 0. The number 0 is what we call neutral. It's neither positive nor negative, but it's still considered an integer. And then integers can be represented on a number line, which can help us to understand the value of an integer. Jay's here. Give me one moment. So let's talk about positive integers. Positive integers are to the right of 0. So they're all the numbers that are greater than 0. Sometimes positive integers express ideas of going up, for example, as an elevation. If you have a gain or a profit, the sign for a positive integer is a plus sign. However, the sign is not always needed. So if we write positive 3 with a plus sign and just 3, they both have the same value of 3. Sometimes we put the plus sign to symbolize as positive, but if it's not there, we can also assume that it's positive. Negative numbers are to the left of 0. They are valued at a less than 0 number. So on a number line, they go to the left. Typically, negative numbers express ideas of something going down or if you lose something. So for example, if you go down a ski slope, your elevation is decreasing, therefore it's negative. Or say you lose some yards in a football game, it's a loss, therefore it's also represented as a negative integer. The sign for a negative integer is a minus sign. This sign is always needed. Again, if you don't have a negative sign there, it's just assumed that it's positive. Integers can be represented on an integer line or a number line. Negative integers are the numbers -1, -2, -3. Again, they're always to the left of 0. And then we have positive integers, which are valued at greater than 0. And then we just have 0, again, which is neither positive or negative. It just remains neutral. We use integers frequently in everyday life, whether you kind of realize it or not. So I'm going to point out some situations that we might use a positive integer. So for example, integers that read on a thermometer that are above 0 are positive integers. So for example, today's temperature is about 52 degrees. 52 is above 0, therefore it's a positive integer. When it's very, very cold, in which Miss Fosdick is going to fly somewhere very warm, out to Mexico or something, when that temperature happens. When we have very cold weather, sometimes we read a thermometer or if you have a weather app on your phone, or if you watch the news when they discuss the weather, they'll put a little negative sign or a minus sign next to the temperature. So that would symbolize that it's below 0 or it's a negative temperature. Therefore, -10 in this situation is an integer that's negative because it's less than 0. So any temperature that is less than 0 is a negative integer. And any temperature that is less than 0, I am hiding somewhere far, far away. Another real-world example is when we discuss sea level. So positive integers can indicate the height above sea level. So this at 0 is represented at sea level. An airplane that's flying in the sky, maybe about at least 80 yards above the sea, or 80 meters in this case, that's above sea level, therefore it's a positive integer. Then all the cute little fishies swimming below, to say this fishy is 100 meters below sea level, that would be represented as a negative integer. A few more real-world examples might, again, include sea level. So when you're hiking or you're skiing on top of a mountain, that's above sea level. If you decide to go scuba diving, you would go below sea level. Or say you want to go in a submarine, you'd be going below sea level, therefore that's a negative integer. Another example is if you watch sports, specifically football. Sometimes when a quarterback throws a pass that's complete, they have a yardage that's a gain, therefore it's a positive integer. Sometimes when they get sacked, they lose yards, so they have a loss of yards, therefore it's represented with a negative integer. If any of you play golf, or any of your parents play golf, sometimes if you're below par, that's represented with a negative integer. Again, temperature has both negative and positive integers. If it's below 0, it's a negative integer. And if it's above 0, it's a positive integer. A scale. When maybe you gain some weight, it's a positive integer. And if you lose some weight, which doesn't really happen this time of year for me, all right, it's a loss or it's a negative integer because you're losing weight. And then again, money. A lot of times in money, we use positive and negative integers. If you work really hard and you get paid to do so, you put money into your bank account, so that's a positive integer. Or if you decide to go shopping, again, like me this time of year, you take money out of your bank account, therefore you have a loss or it's a negative integer. Some of your parents might invest some money in the stock market, which we're going to also do in class. That uses a lot of positive and negative integers as well. All right, so I hope you have a little bit of background knowledge on positive and negative integers. Again, if you need to go back through the video and rewatch certain parts to fill out these sections. Then what I also want you to do, just as a little bonus, ask your parents what stock you should invest in for class. Because we're actually going to kind of research the stock market, and you're going to track stocks, well, at least one, and we're going to talk about how integers are used with money. So ask your parents what a good stock is to invest in, and write that at the bottom of your graphic organizer. All right, have a good evening, and I will see you tomorrow. What's that? You're feeling positive about this? Not negative? Positive? That's great to hear. I thought I heard you say you're being really positive.